What's up, guys? So I want to tell you about my love affair in Cairo, Egypt. As I mentioned in my last video, gay dating in Egypt, Grindr is not banned here, which I was very surprised by because Grindr is banned in Turkey and it's banned in a lot of other countries. And considering here, it's not illegal to be gay, but you can be punished by law for it. I just assumed an app like Grindr would be banned and that citizens would not be able to use it. Ironically, not only is it not banned, but there's a huge community on it. One of the messages I received on Grindr was from a very nice, very charming Egyptian guy. And we went back and forth for a while, and it was unlike the other dozens of conversations that came in and out on Grindr, Tinder, Scrub, Hornet, these different apps. And you know when you talk to somebody whether they have substance and that they're just a different kind of person, a more special kind of person than the average Joe that you talk to. So we decided we were going to meet up because that was my last night, and we casually kind of agreed that he would show me around Egypt, which is always like my favorite thing to do when I meet a local and there's like a romantic connection. I love when they play tour guide, and I don't know, there's just something romantic to me that somebody wants to show you their culture. So eventually we drove around so that he could show me different places in Cairo. There was this very strong vibe between us, like a very potent desire to connect. But it was awkward because we're in a car, so it's technically like a public place, right? There's other cars going by. And me knowing that you can't just like hold hands with a guy, you can't kiss a guy, any of those things. I didn't want to make him feel uncomfortable, and I wanted to see how he would act. I wanted to act according to him because he's obviously more familiar with the culture. So it was very cute because eventually our hands just kind of met and we started holding hands in the car, and he said that was fine because our hands were low enough that people couldn't really see them, but he made it clear that anything else was just not okay. Finally, we ended up on a road that was basically abandoned. Nobody was around, and he still had this fear of doing anything that could get him in any trouble. And he even expressed that when you're local, it's different. You know, if you're a foreigner, if you're visiting, who knows what laws, if any, can be applied to you. But as a local, he was telling me he always has to be conscious of how he behaves. Nobody in his life, you know, locally, his family, his close friends, none of them know that he's gay. And not because he's on the down low, like we had that concept in, you know, the US, but just because culturally you can't be gay. It's not even just that it's considered immoral, it's just not done. You can't be gay. So when we get to this kind of deserted road, he's finally like, okay, I think we can like sneak a kiss. And there was something exciting about it too, and feeling like you're teenagers, you know, in this innocent like puppy love affair. But every time he would kiss me, I could feel his eyes being open, watching to be careful. There was always this level of caution and discomfort, and it was very bittersweet because I could feel that we both really wanted to connect and kiss and feel passion, but we couldn't. It just wasn't worth the risk. So finally I suggested, you know, we want to be comfortable, we both want to kiss each other, come to my hotel room, like what's the big deal? And he expressed to me that because I wasn't staying at like some huge, you know, hotel, and especially like, you know, an American chain like Marriott or the Hilton or something, because I was staying at such a small hotel, it wasn't worth it because it would be very suspicious to come home with a guy all of a sudden at 1 or 2 in the morning, you know, that they haven't seen the whole time. He's not my guest otherwise. I understood what he meant, and I was disappointed, but obviously I had to respect that. At the end of the day, he knows the culture better than I do. So it was disappointing that there was this limit to how much I could connect to somebody that I wanted to connect to. And I thought, wow, it must be so hard living here and constantly having to go through this kind of thing. Regardless though, I feel like I built this special, like esoteric connection with this boy, and I told him we're going to stay in touch, and despite you not having the ability to be open with your close friends and family and stuff like that. I want to make sure you have somebody that you can talk to and trust. Even if I don't live here, even if I never come back to Egypt, and we had talked about him potentially coming to the US to visit, and I said, you show me around, I'll show you around where I live. So despite this bittersweet experience, I'm honestly always grateful when I can connect with somebody who's from a different world than me, and still you feel compatible and you want to get to know the person. Like, even though your worlds couldn't be more different, there's something in common that makes you click. Whenever I travel to different places, I'm always like, oh, I want to see what the men are like and all this. But at the end of the day, nothing for me is more meaningful than having a connection like this. Like, even though nothing that intimate happened beyond some innocent quick kisses in the car, for me that is so much more profound than like having some random hookup with somebody that you're never going to see again. So bittersweet, yes, but worth it, absolutely. I have 2 more cities left in this trip to the Middle East. Stay tuned if you want to see what my experiences are like